Sean Diddy Combs' trial on trafficking and racketeering charges continues in New York. Even more bombshells came out during week 2.
That's what he used to say when he would see a woman that he wanted to manipulate and enslave. You look like me. Yeah. He said it to Nosy, to this worker. He knew who to talk to.
I've seen women walk out the room and I was like, damn, when did she come here? And they was bad. And they had a smile on their face.
Diddy's trial is turning into something way bigger than anyone expected. And now, Oprah Winfrey's name is suddenly being dragged into the mix. People are starting to notice strange links between the two, and it's raising a lot of eyebrows. Private parties, quiet business deals, and old connections that never made headlines are now being talked about like never before. Some are asking how much Oprah really knew. She's been spotted at key events and around some of the same powerful circles as Diddy. Could she have seen something? Or is she just trying to stay out of the mess? What started as a civil suit from Cassie Ventura has evolved into one of the most unsettling legal storms the entertainment world has seen in years. While many were initially shocked by the speed of the settlement, what followed was even more telling. A rapid succession of lawsuits, federal raids, and a growing list of accusers who described a deeply disturbing pattern of abuse and control surrounding Sean Diddy Combs.
She was directed by Combs to perform humiliating acts with male escorts in so-called freak-offs. On the stand, the defense focused their questions on dozens of messages that suggest Ventura didn't always reject them. In 2009, she wrote to Combs, "I'm always ready to freak off, LOL."
At this point, the core allegations are no longer the main focus. Most people are familiar with the claims of sexual misconduct, drug use, violence, and manipulation. What's become far more significant is the pattern these claims reveal and the widening scope of the investigation. Federal authorities appear to be mapping not just Diddy's alleged actions, but the ecosystem that enabled them, an insular world of handlers, celebrity allies, media gatekeepers, and entertainment executives who either participated or deliberately looked away. The raids on Diddy's properties earlier this year weren't just symbolic.
Meanwhile, a police presence swarming his high-end Beverly Hills neighborhood. Officers going room to room, carrying zip ties and serious firepower. In the driveway, law enforcement vehicles parking next to, we assume, Diddy's luxury cars. Then, of course, his two sons, 30-year-old Justin and 25-year-old King. At one point, they seem to be sharing a laugh.
According to reports, law enforcement retrieved hard drives, internal communications, and footage that could indicate a level of coordination and possibly even trafficking. Multiple insiders are cooperating with authorities, suggesting the case may soon shift from civil proceedings to serious criminal charges. Perhaps the most explosive development is how the trial has become a cultural turning point. Diddy's brand, once a blueprint for Black entrepreneurial success, is now being scrutinized as a symbol of unchecked power. And it's not just about Diddy anymore. The spotlight has expanded to examine how certain figures in entertainment maintained silence or proximity to alleged abuse in exchange for protection, influence, or continued access. Names are beginning to surface, some whispered, some confirmed. And this is where the story gets messier.
Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan. These names and other celebrities came up at day one of Diddy's sex trafficking trial in Manhattan. Those names were on a list of possible people whose names might come up at some point during what's expected to be an action-packed 2-month trial.
A number of public figures, including high-profile entertainers, philanthropists, and media moguls, are being linked through photos, emails, guest lists, and business partnerships. While these links don't prove wrongdoing, they're prompting tough questions. Who knew what? Who helped bury the truth? And who's next? It's this broader fallout that now defines the Diddy saga. We've seen celebrity trials before, but this one has the potential to reshape the way we view fame, power, and complicity in modern media. Much like the Harvey Weinstein scandal peeled back layers of Hollywood's darkest secrets, Diddy's legal unraveling could do the same for music and celebrity culture. As Diddy's trial continues, more people are paying attention to others connected to the entertainment world, and no one is more well-known than Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's journey from a challenging childhood in rural Mississippi to becoming one of the world's most influential media moguls is a story of resilience and determination. Beginning her career as a local news anchor and talk show host, she transformed daytime television with The Oprah Winfrey Show.
I come from a willingness to understand and to be understood.
Right.
And I come from wanting to connect. I mean, the secret of that show for 25 years is that people could see themselves in me all over the world.
For 25 years, her empathetic and authentic approach connected deeply with audiences, building immense trust and admiration. This connection helped Oprah expand her reach beyond television, creating a multimedia empire that includes a cable network, magazine, and production company, making her the first Black woman billionaire and a global icon. Central to Oprah's public image is her commitment to philanthropy and advocacy, especially for women and survivors of abuse. She has long used her platform to shine a light on difficult issues, from launching the Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa to donating millions to causes supporting women and children. Oprah's role in opening public dialogue around sexual abuse and domestic violence helped break down silence and stigma, positioning her as a powerful voice for those who are often unheard. Her outspoken stances during major cultural moments have only reinforced this reputation. Oprah was a vocal supporter of the Me Too movement, condemning predators like Harvey Weinstein and emphasizing the need for systemic change.
Speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. And I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak up and share their personal stories.
When it came to complex cases such as Michael Jackson's, she consistently advocated for empathy toward survivors while calling for accountability. Now, Diddy and her professional paths have crossed numerous times over the years, beginning in the early 2000s when Diddy's rising empire started expanding beyond music into television and film territories where Oprah has long been a dominant force. Diddy has appeared on Oprah's shows, both as a guest and collaborator, and Oprah has promoted artists and projects linked to Diddy's labels. This mutual promotion created a synergy that benefited both. Oprah's brand reached younger urban audiences, while Diddy's ventures gained broader mainstream visibility. Beyond public appearances, the two share business connections that are less visible but no less significant. Both have invested in media startups and streaming platforms, sometimes with overlapping partners and advisors. For instance, their companies have jointly backed initiatives in digital content aimed at diverse audiences. They have also participated in exclusive industry events and panels, where strategic partnerships are often forged behind closed doors. Socially, Oprah and Diddy have inhabited many of the same elite circles. Invitations to private parties, charity galas, and exclusive fundraisers often feature both names on the guest list. Several insiders report that these gatherings are where influential players in entertainment, politics, and business mingle, and where information flows quietly among trusted confidants. It is within these spaces that rumors about off-the-record conversations involving both have circulated, although no direct evidence has been made public. What's particularly fueling the current speculation is the timing. As Diddy's trial exposes the darker aspects of the music and entertainment industry, some observers are scrutinizing Oprah's role in these overlapping networks. She has been spotted at key events around the same time that some of the alleged misconduct took place.
Harvey was a close friend of Oprah's for many years, and he used that friendship to gain the trust of his victims. Actress Katie Noble claimed that Harvey used Oprah into going back with him to his hotel room. However, once Harvey's crimes became public knowledge, Oprah distanced herself from the situation without directly addressing her relationship with him. Oprah said, "If we make this just about Harvey, then we have lost this moment."
While these coincidences do not imply guilt, they have raised questions about whether she might have been aware of certain behaviors or complicity among mutual acquaintances. Oprah's team has denied any involvement or prior knowledge of Diddy's legal issues, emphasizing her long-standing advocacy for survivors of abuse. However, critics argue that such high-profile connections often come with unspoken codes of silence, especially when reputations and business interests are at stake. The absence of any public statement from Oprah regarding the case has only intensified these doubts. Legal analysts also point out that the trial has brought to light a culture of secrecy and power in Hollywood and music that transcends individual personalities. The proximity of figures like Oprah and Diddy to this culture naturally invites scrutiny. Hollywood and the broader entertainment industry have long been cloaked in a culture where silence often equals survival. Powerful figures protect each other through intricate networks of influence, favor exchanges, and mutual benefit. This unwritten code prioritizes loyalty within elite circles, often at the expense of transparency and justice. At the heart of this culture are relationships cultivated over decades between producers, agents, celebrities, executives, and media moguls. These connections create a fortress around those in power, shielding them from scrutiny even when allegations of misconduct arise. It's not uncommon for careers to be built and sustained through these alliances, with favors traded quietly to keep reputations intact. This pattern of protection is not new. History is dotted with high-profile cases where silence became complicity. The Harvey Weinstein scandal is perhaps the most glaring recent example. For years, Weinstein's predatory behavior was an open secret in Hollywood, yet many stayed silent, either out of fear, self-interest, or belief that confronting him would derail their careers.
Harvey Weinstein! She's waited a long time for this day of reckoning. Lucia Evans was a 21-year-old college student and aspiring actress when she met Weinstein at this Manhattan nightclub in 2004. Weinstein invited Lucia Evans to his offices here in the hip Tribeca neighborhood of Manhattan. He told her he was looking for new talent and she'd be meeting with a female casting director. Instead, she says he brought her to a room with exercise equipment and takeout food boxes all over the floor.
Only when brave survivors broke the silence did the full extent of the abuse come to light. Similarly, the Michael Jackson allegations revealed how media narratives, loyal fan bases, and strategic PR campaigns could suppress inconvenient truths. NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and hush money have long been tools used by the powerful to silence victims and witnesses. These legal contracts, often accompanied by lucrative settlements, prevent individuals from speaking out, effectively erasing their experiences from public discourse. Public relations firms play a crucial role in maintaining this protective shield. When allegations emerge, these firms deploy crisis management strategies designed to deflect attention, discredit accusers, and reshape narratives. This polished image management often masks the uncomfortable realities behind closed doors, allowing accused figures to maintain their status and influence. Power dynamics compound these mechanisms. Victims, often in vulnerable positions, face immense pressure not to speak out, fearing retaliation or career sabotage. Meanwhile, perpetrators benefit from access to resources, legal teams, and influential allies who can mitigate consequences. This entrenched loyalty within elite circles frequently clashes with public morality and calls for accountability. The public demands transparency, justice, and change, yet the inner workings of Hollywood often resist these demands. This tension creates a paradox where the same industry that champions storytelling and truth simultaneously suppresses inconvenient realities to protect its own. As the Diddy case deepens, Oprah Winfrey's complete silence has moved from unnoticed to impossible to ignore, not because she's obligated to comment, but because her name has become indirectly attached to a controversy that is now testing the boundaries of public accountability, loyalty, and image management. Observers aren't asking for a press conference or a public reckoning. What's striking is the total absence of any acknowledgement, even in the face of mounting speculation. This silence isn't occurring in a vacuum. Her name is surfacing in discussions not because she is accused of wrongdoing, but because she exists in the same rarefied space as many of the individuals now under the microscope. In this context, silence isn't neutral, it's strategic. What makes this moment different is how carefully calculated silence can function as both a shield and a signal. On one hand, choosing not to speak protects her from being pulled deeper into the narrative. If she were to comment now, even vaguely, it could tie her more directly to headlines she clearly wants to avoid. On the other hand, the refusal to say anything is beginning to attract just as much attention, turning discretion into perceived distance, or worse, evasion. There's also a larger, often unspoken dynamic at play: elite proximity. Within closed circles of influence, silence often acts as a gesture of protection. Whether by intention or by instinct, the decision not to speak can be interpreted as a way of maintaining stability within those networks. Breaking that silence, even with the mildest disapproval, could shift power dynamics or burn bridges that have been carefully maintained for decades. Behind the scenes, legal caution may be informing everything. As Diddy faces federal scrutiny and possible criminal charges, any public misstep, even from an uninvolved figure, could have unpredictable legal consequences. In the world of billion-dollar reputations and multi-layered legal teams, saying less often isn't just safer, it's required. But that hasn't stopped the speculation. People are not demanding confessions, they're noticing the selective engagement. If a lesser-known figure were remaining quiet, it wouldn't raise an eyebrow. But for someone of her visibility, this level of silence begins to look like strategy or damage control. The court of public opinion has become just as active as the legal system, especially online. Across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit, theories about Oprah's connection to Diddy's inner circle are exploding, while multiple users commented things like, "Get Oprah, she's guilty." Or even one user said, "Why does Oprah get away with so much bad? She's not better than anyone else." Viral threads are stitching together photos, guest lists, and video clips from past events, painting a picture, accurate or not, of a deeper overlap than many had realized. To some, the speculation may seem like a reach, but to many online observers, it fits into a long-standing belief that power protects power. Some posts have gained serious traction by highlighting moments when Oprah appeared at the same high-profile gatherings as Diddy, or was affiliated with mutual acquaintances now under scrutiny. While nothing presented so far suggests criminal involvement or complicity, the growing digital narrative is less about facts and more about optics, and people are demanding explanations, or at least acknowledgement. Influencers and independent media commentators have been quicker to connect the dots than traditional outlets. On YouTube and TikTok, creators are uploading breakdowns of Hollywood's elite circle, with Oprah often featured prominently. In contrast, mainstream media has largely treaded carefully around her name, often omitting her entirely from coverage of Diddy's case, even when discussing broader industry connections. This has led to accusations of media bias or preferential treatment. Journalists who have acknowledged the overlap tend to do so cautiously, framing Oprah as adjacent to individuals now under legal or public scrutiny, but stopping short of suggesting any direct involvement. This hesitance has only fueled frustration among audiences who feel other public figures, particularly younger, less established, or less politically powerful celebrities, would be treated far more aggressively under similar circumstances. The double standard is a major talking point online. Critics argue that if a different celebrity, especially one without Oprah's decades-long prestige and institutional influence, had been seen at the same events or had similar ties, the media coverage would likely be far less forgiving or far more invasive. As speculation intensifies and silence persists, the divide between how different tiers of celebrity are held accountable continues to widen. Whether fair or not, Oprah is now squarely in the spotlight, not for what she's said, but for what she hasn't. If we have a look at this week of trial, there are a lot of things that have happened with Diddy, many of them more explosive than anyone expected. From surprise witnesses to damning digital evidence, the courtroom turned into the center of a much bigger storm that's now pulling more people and power structures into its orbit. It all began with a key testimony from a former industry insider who claimed to have witnessed a recurring pattern of control, intimidation, and cover-ups at private events hosted by Diddy.
who allegedly forced victims into days-long drug-fueled encounters that prosecutors called freak-offs or Wild King nights. The defense argued Combs is a complicated man, but said this is not a complicated case. His lawyer pointing to that disturbing video of Combs dragging and kicking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, admitting it shows domestic, but arguing it is not evidence of sex trafficking.
The witness didn't name names directly, but hinted that several high-profile guests were often present, raising serious questions about who else might have seen or known what was happening behind closed doors. Things escalated quickly when federal prosecutors unveiled excerpts of encrypted messages and internal emails that were seized during the earlier raids on Diddy's properties. While redacted, the communications strongly suggested a level of premeditation and organizational structure behind many of the alleged incidents. These weren't isolated moments. They were allegedly part of a coordinated system that used legal tools, money, and influence to silence and manipulate.
Two new witnesses, two key witnesses, delivered explosive testimony detailing allegations of violence, threats, manipulation at the hands of the hip-hop mogul. Former Daddy Kane member Dawn Richard returned to the stand, doubling down on her shocking claim that she witnessed Diddy attack his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura Fine.
Midweek, attention shifted to the financial foundation of Diddy's empire. Forensic experts presented evidence of complex money trails connecting shell companies, entertainment ventures, and personal accounts, some of which had overlapping investments with other powerful media figures. It wasn't just about money. It was about a web of influence, a system designed to protect reputations and obscure responsibility. And just in week 3, a former assistant of Diddy testified, giving details on the Kid Cudi incident.
Almost every single day of this trial has been jaw-dropping testimony.
Absolutely. So tomorrow, after this long weekend, we'll be back in session in court, and Capricorn Clark is set to take the stand now. She's come up in several different witness testimonies. She's been referenced. She's a longtime assistant and eventually became an executive at Bad Boy Records. So many of the witnesses that we've heard from so far that were affiliated or working for Combs were little snapshots of time. 2 years here, 2 years there. Capricorn Clark worked with him for a longer period of time. She also was referenced in Kid Cudi's testimony that she had reached out to Kid Cudi and said, hey, Combs and some of his affiliates are at your house, are breaking into.
But that wasn't the only it, because it was during this phase that an unexpected and chilling piece of evidence emerged. What is believed to be one of the last voice recordings made by Prince before his death. The contents of the recording haven't been made public, but sources inside the courtroom confirmed that it references dark truths about the music industry and alludes to exploitation and control within elite creative circles. Its inclusion was unexpected and deeply symbolic, reigniting old conversations about how much Prince may have known and feared before his passing. The emotional intensity only heightened when 2 more accusers testified via video, their identities protected but their stories disturbingly familiar. Each detailed incident involves coercion, surveillance, and manipulation, descriptions that prosecutors claim further confirm a systemic pattern of abuse, not just isolated events. Their testimonies turned the courtroom into a space of heavy reckoning, with even seasoned attorneys visibly shaken. To close the week, expert witnesses spoke about the psychology and sociology of power, examining how a culture of silence protects those in elite circles. They spoke to the complicity of those who weren't involved but knew, describing how access, opportunity, and fear create barriers to speaking out. No names were mentioned, but the undertones were unmistakable, pointing toward an industry where many chose silence over justice. All of this unfolded in just 5 days, but the implications stretch far beyond. As the trial continues, the public should expect more revelations, both legal and cultural. New testimonies, legal developments, and potentially more names may surface. This isn't just about one individual anymore. It's exposing a wider system of unchecked power and protected influence in the entertainment industry. In that process, more familiar faces could come under scrutiny, deserved or not. Whether Oprah Winfrey will choose to address the growing rumors remains uncertain. She may continue to stay silent, especially if advised to do so, or she may break her silence with a carefully crafted statement if the pressure becomes impossible to ignore. If she does speak, it's likely to be measured, non-committal, and framed around broader principles rather than specifics. This entire situation offers a larger lesson about the complexities of power, silence, and public association. In a hyper-connected world, being seen near someone, on a stage, in a photo, or at a party, can carry unintended consequences. And when public trust is fraying, silence can read like evasion, even when it's not. The case also highlights how quickly narratives form, how easily they spread, and how difficult it becomes to separate fact from speculation.